Last night, I, like many, was watching the Eagles-Dolphins game, okay? On the couch. It was a long weekend. We had family in town, right? The kids all got to run around. It was a good time. But obviously, end of the weekend, you're a little tired. You're sitting on the couch kind of zoning out, right? So I'm watching the game, but I'm also, in my own thoughts. And I suddenly just had the kind of epiphany, right? Because obviously I filter everything through kind of a Panthers lens. How many times are they going to say that Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts played at Alabama together? I mean, it was in and out of every commercial break.
The ultimate storyline.
It was just, did you know? It happened. The switch. Do you remember when Tua Tagovailoa came in for Jalen Hurts? We're like, yeah, it was the national championship game. We were all watching. Well, did you know what happened the next year? The reverse? You mean when Jalen Hurts came in the SEC championship game? Yeah, we were all watching. But as they kept saying it over and over again, I was going, actually, you know what? It is kind of rare to see two Alabama quarterbacks go up against each other in the NFL. Oh, wait a second. No, just a couple weeks ago, we saw Bryce Young and Tua Tagovailoa. Remember they had that long post-game hug? And I started going, oh, that's actually kind of interesting, right? Because now I'm in full daydream mode, right? I'm watching the game. Plays are happening in front of me, but I'm just thinking because, a little tired. And I got to this part. Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, former Alabama quarterbacks, right? Matured a ton. A lot of their development happened while at Alabama, even though Jalen Hurts did go to Oklahoma for the last year. But a lot of their improvement and formative years were at Alabama. And they both get a chance to start early in their career in the NFL. And they're both in and out with a veteran, and they're both slow to kind of establish themselves as franchise guys. And maybe at times their fan bases were saying he's not the guy. Both Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa, right? If you go back and look at their rookie years, even their second years, not the guy. We need a replacement. Not the guy. Well, now their fan bases absolutely love him, right? Now the Dolphins have two. What do they call it? Tuanon?
Touchdown Tua. But yeah, Tuanon
would be his fans, and I'm sure Jalen Hurts has the whole. I mean, tush push group.
Brotherly shove.
The brotherly shovers. They're now cult favorites, right? Only they're also mainstream. They're just beloved. A couple of Alabama quarterbacks that were not sure things right out of the gate came into the league over the first year or two, slow start, and then they started lighting it up. So I went, okay, perfect. Right now I'm awoken by this, right? I have the energy back. And I'm going, okay, what happened to them? What happened to those two guys that took them from the struggles to the penthouse? Because maybe we can learn something about that and apply it to Bryce Young. Well, guess what? It's very, very simple. Very, very simple. Unbelievably simple. Going into their third years in the NFL, guess what happened? The Eagles signed, or I should say traded for, the Eagles traded for A.J. Brown, and the Dolphins traded for Tyreek Hill. So, are they doing well? Well, you go look it up. They are number 1 and number 2 in the league in receiving yards. And then just for fun, I glanced through the rest of the receiving yards list. Number 4, Stephon Diggs. Guess what? Josh Allen, another quarterback, came into the league. Not super sure thing, right? Little sketchy. Maybe some people were saying he wasn't the guy. Then he gets paired with Stephon Diggs, MVP candidate, worth $1 billion trillion. A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs are number 1, 2, and 4 in the league in receiving yards. All of them were acquired through trade after their young quarterback showed up in the building and struggled a bit. Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Josh Allen were not super-duper obvious slam dunks right out of the gate in their career. But when those receivers showed up, they were unlocked by the arrival of that number 1 wide receiver and allowed them to become what they are now. None of them have won an MVP yet, but they've been in the running. So what does that say to the Carolina Panthers? Go get a number 1 wide receiver this offseason. It took those teams until the quarterback's third year to figure it out. But, a smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Learn from what they did and bring them in a year early. And not just a number one wide receiver, a high-end number one wide receiver. Because let's not make any mistakes about it. A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, and Stephon Diggs, they're not run-of-the-mill number ones, right? They are, independent of their quarterback, very, very good. Bring it in. Make it happen. Learn. Observe. It's a copycat league. Be a copycat. And the other thing you want to note about those three deals, they were trades. All three of them, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, to the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Eagles, they were trades, okay? You had to give up something spectacular for it. But that's not the point I'm focused on. The point I'm focused on is these teams were intentional about getting their guy a guy. They had their quarterback, and they were intentional about getting their quarterback a stud pass catcher. It wasn't, let's see what the market looks like. Right? It wasn't, let's see, right? Let's see who's a free agent. Let's see who's available at our draft pick. Let's see. It was, this is what we need. Let's go get it. You ever, for everyone out there that's ever bought a car, there's kind of two ways to buy a car, right? One is you go to the dealership and you look around, right? And you're oh, that's kind of nice. And you might walk away with a car you like. You might walk away with nothing. But then there's the other way, right? Which is you do all the research. You talk to people, right? A lot of times it's the nature of what you're buying a car. If your previous car breaks down and you don't have a car, the next day you Uber to the dealership, and the best deal, the best fit that they have at that dealership, you drive it home because you got to get to work the next day. You know what I mean? However, if you have a car that's getting older but it still runs well, or maybe you have somebody you can borrow a car from in the meantime so you don't have to do it intentionally or quickly, well, that's when, okay, I'm going to ask everybody I know, hey, have you been looking to a car? Hey, what do you like about it? Hey, I saw you drive the Ford. What's going on with the Ford? Hey, I hear, what's this deal?
Show me the Carfax.
Show me the Carfax, right? I'm online. I'm reading a billion reviews to the point where you get past the first 10 reviews and you're into the weird ones. That's how much research you've done. Then you're not just going to a dealership, right? You're going to a dealership that you know from their online inventory has the car you want, and you go there knowing how much you're willing to spend on that car, and you go there and you walk out of there with a good deal that you're confident in. That's what I need the Panthers to do. Right? This is not, well, let's see what's in the free agency market. Let's see who becomes available. Let's see if somebody calls us and offers us a wide receiver. No, it's listen, we need the 2023 offseason model of the A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill wide receiver number one. We'd like a little upgrade in age. However, we're willing to take a little bit of a downgrade in speed because there's not many out there with the turbo that Tyreek has. We'll take a little bit of a downgrade on the A.J. Brown muscles because that just seems a little unnecessary to be that shredded. But we want our guy. Swing for the fence. Who might be unhappy where they are right now? Make the call. Make the call. Because it's getting to the point now, right? It's if maybe Tua Tagovailoa was given a number one wide receiver and started playing real well, I'd go, okay, right? Hey, Tua's whatever his receiving core might not have been up to snuff. But now we see Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Josh Allen, and if we did more research, we could probably find more guys that were flashing, right? Showed flashes of what they might be able to be one day in the NFL, but not nearly as consistent as they should be. Josh Allen, his rookie year was essentially 1-for-1, touchdown to interceptions. Tua Tagovailoa couldn't stay on the field his rookie year because they wanted to put Ryan Fitzpatrick out there. Jalen Hurts was nothing but an insurance policy for Carson Wentz. And all of them, once paired with their dude, blew the heck up. We're talking MVP candidate style. We're talking Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen already got paid every which way. Tua Tagovailoa likely would have if he didn't have the head trauma injury stuff looming over him. But if he plays 17 games this year, I firmly expect he will get paid every which way this offseason. And make no mistake about it, the best goal for Bryce Young, for the Panthers, the best goal for the Panthers involving Bryce Young is that you have to pay him every which way 3 or 4 years from now. That means things are going swimmingly. So don't do it now, right? That's short-sighted. Don't go trade before the trade deadline for a wide receiver. That's short-sighted. This offseason, do what it takes. Do what it takes.